They were supposed to be on vacation. That's the part that keeps replaying in my head, over and over, like a joke told by someone with no understanding of humor. We packed the SUV at dawn. The kids were half asleep, snuggled into blankets as the early morning mist rolled across the highway. I remember Emily, my wife, sipping her coffee while quietly humming under her breath. Our daughter Lily had her headphones on, lost in some playlist, while our son Noah was excitedly pointing out every cow, tree, and cloud we passed. It was normal, safe, comforting. If I had known that was the last moment of peace we'd ever experience as a family, I would have savored it more. I would have memorized every detail, because what came after didn't feel real. It felt like stepping into a dream you can't wake up from, where the sky feels too quiet and every shadow feels like it's watching. We were headed to a small mountain town, a quiet village recommended in some travel video that Emily found. The kind of place described with words like cozy, hidden, untouched, peaceful. The type of place where people still left their doors unlocked at night. God, how ironic. The road leading up into the hills wasn't on the GPS. It wasn't even on any map. But Google Maps insisted there was a route, so we followed it. The forest around the road was thick. Dark pine trees lined the edges, blotting out sunlight. The further we drove, the more the world felt muted. Noah stopped talking. Lily slowly removed her headphones, as if even music felt too loud for this place. It felt wrong, but we kept going anyway. By the time we reached the village, it was late afternoon. The place looked frozen in time. Old wooden houses, small fields, dirt pathways. A few people stood outside, staring at us with unreadable expressions. No smiles, no waves, no curiosity, just watching. I remember Emily whispering, "Why does everyone look like that?" I didn't know what to say. We reached the small lodge where we'd planned to stay, the elm wood and painted on a worn wooden sign. The owner was an old man with pale eyes. He didn't greet us, didn't ask where we were from, didn't even blink much. He just handed us the keys and said one thing: "Whatever you do, lock your doors at night. And don't speak to anyone who comes after dark." I thought it was just some strange old town superstition. Emily laughed it off. The kids were too busy arguing over rooms to notice the tone in his voice. But when night came, I understood. The sound started around midnight. Soft at first, like leaves rustling. Then footsteps. Slow, scraping, dragging. The kind of footsteps that didn't belong to anything human. I froze in bed. Emily clutched my arm, her nails digging into my skin. We could hear something outside, moving along the porch. Then, knocking. Not banging. Not aggressive. Just a gentle, polite knock. Like someone asking to be let in. Then a voice. Soft. Familiar. It sounded like Noah. "Dad? It's cold out here. Open the door." But Noah was asleep. I could see him, his small chest rising and falling peacefully. His eyes closed. Emily started crying. She covered her mouth to keep from making a sound. Then another voice. This time, Lily's voice, but deeper, warped, stretching vowels in a way no human speech could. "Mom, please, it's dark. Let me in." My skin went cold. The air felt heavy, like the room itself was suffocating us. I crawled to the window and looked through a tiny crack in the curtains. What I saw standing outside wasn't human. It had Lily's shape, but too tall, its limbs too long, its neck stretched like melted wax. Its face, God, it had no face. Just smooth skin where eyes and a mouth should be. Yet it spoke, perfectly mimicking our daughter's voice. Pleading, crying, begging. Emily whispered, "Don't look at it. Don't answer it." The knocking continued. Slow, rhythmic, patient. And then voices filled the air. Not just one. Dozens. Children. Mothers. Men. Old voices. Young voices. Screams. Whispers. Laughter. Crying. All blended together like an orchestra of nightmares. We huddled together on the floor until morning. When the first sunlight touched the windows, every sound stopped instantly. I forced myself to open the door once the sun was high enough. The porch was empty, but the wood had claw marks in it. Deep. Fresh. Long. We tried to leave that morning. Packed the car. Kids confused but quiet. We drove back down the same road we came in on. But after 20 minutes, something was wrong. The same trees. The same bends. The same old fallen log. The same broken sign. We drove another 20 minutes. Same road. Another hour. Same. We passed the same house. The same scarecrow. The same rusted tractor. No matter how far we went. We never left. Emily started shaking. Noah started crying. Lily just stared, wide-eyed, silent. We drove for 4 hours. Then the old man from the inn stepped out of the trees and waved us back, as if he'd been waiting. We didn't argue. Back in the village, he finally told us the truth. We don't choose to live here, he said. The village chooses you. What are those things? I asked. His pale eyes filled with something like sorrow. They used to be us. My blood went cold. Night falls, he continued, and they come. They whisper. They mimic. They beg. If you open the door, you join them. I asked the only question that mattered. How do we escape? He looked at me for a long time, then said, no one has yet. The old man's words kept echoing in my head long after we returned to the room. No one has yet. Not no one tries. Not no one knows how. Just, no one has survived escape. It felt like a sentence. A warning. A certainty. But I refused to accept it. I couldn't let my family believe we were already dead. That night, I pushed the dresser against the front door myself. Every chair. The heavy wooden table. Even the old coat rack. I hammered nails into the window frames while Emily tried to distract the kids. Noah cried quietly while drawing circles in his notebook, and Lily sat on the bed, staring at the door as if something was already standing on the other side of it. By sunset, the sky turned the same pale violet as the evening before, and the wind stopped completely, like the world was holding its breath. Then came the silence, the kind where even your heartbeat sounds too loud. The first knock came at exactly 8:03 p.m., just like last night. Slow, gentle, polite. Knock, knock. But the voice that followed was different. Not Noah's. Not Lily's. Not mine. It was Emily's this time. But she was beside me, her hands over her mouth, eyes wide, terrified. Let me in. Please. I'm cold. It was her voice perfectly. Same tone, same emotions, same rhythm. But the thing outside was not human. Then another voice joined. This time Noah's. The mimic tone cracked and stretched, like a recording melted by heat. Dad, I'm scared. Dad, please, open the door. Noah whimpered and buried his face in Emily's side. Then Lily's voice joined in. Except the voice outside whispered, Mommy, Mommy, the dark hurts. Lily clutched her ears. Stop, stop, stop. She screamed so loudly I thought the glass window panes would break. The knocking became scratching. Long, slow, deliberate claws dragging across wood. Not trying to get inside, just letting us know it could. We stayed like that for hours, huddled together, listening to those voices, afraid to breathe too loudly. When dawn finally came, the voices stopped mid-sentence, just cut off as though someone pressed mute on reality. The sun didn't feel warm that morning, just pale and wrong. We needed help, so we went looking for the villagers. Except nobody was outside. Every house looked abandoned, doors bolted, windows covered. Not one person in sight. This village didn't feel lived in. It felt hidden in. We found one woman eventually, sitting on her porch, her long hair tangled, her dress old and torn like she hadn't slept in days. She stared straight ahead at nothing, eyes wide, unblinking. Emily approached slowly. Ma'am, please, we need help. The woman didn't move at first, not even a blink, not even to breathe. Then her head turned too quickly, like her neck didn't have bones. Her voice was cracked, low, monotone. Do not speak to the night. Emily blinked. What? The woman continued, voice trembling as though repeating something horrible. The night will speak back. Lily grabbed my sleeve. Dad, her shadow. I looked down. The woman's shadow wasn't matching her body. It was facing us, even though she wasn't. Her shadow tilted its head Toward us. Not her. Her shadow. No more conversation. We left. Fast. That evening, I tried to plan an escape again. Different direction. Different roads. Maybe through the forest. The old man stopped me again. Do not go into the woods, he said. I snapped. Why? Tell me why. What are they? What is this place? The old man's expression shifted into something I hadn't seen before. Fear. Pure, ancient fear. There are things older than this village, he whispered. Things that wait in the dark places. They are not ghosts. They are not spirits. They are hunger. That is all. What do they want? I asked. His answer was immediate. To be let in. Emily shivered. Lily swallowed hard. Noah hid behind me. And if we don't? I asked. The old man looked up at the sky, as if expecting something to hear him. They never stop asking. Night came faster than it should have. We barely had time to barricade again. This time the voices didn't start with knocking. They started with laughter. Dozens of voices, layered over each other, like a choir singing out of tune. Soft giggles, then sobbing, then whispers. Lily covered her ears and started rocking. Noah cried and hid under a blanket. Emily and I held on to each other, helpless. Then, footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, one step at a time. But none of us were upstairs. And we had locked the second floor. The house creaked with weight that shouldn't exist. Then, thud. Something fell. Something large. Lily screamed. I grabbed the fireplace poker. My hands shook so badly the metal trembled. Emily whispered, "Don't go up there." But if something was in the house, we were already dead. I started climbing. The hallway upstairs was dark. Too dark, like the shadows were thicker than they should be. Something moved at the end of the hallway. Not fast. Not slow. Just waiting. I whispered, "Hello." It whispered back. In my voice. "Hello." I froze. I didn't breathe. Didn't think. Didn't move. And then something stepped forward. Not a creature. Not a monster. Not a shadow. It was me. My exact face. My exact clothes. Except its eyes were wrong. Black. Reflective. Empty. "Let me in," it said. My chest tightened. My throat closed. My head filled with static. For a moment, just one terrifying second, I wanted to let it in. I felt drawn toward it. Hypnotized. Then I heard Noah scream from downstairs. "Dad, don't look at it." The spell broke. I ran down the stairs. The door shook violently, something trying to force its way inside now. The voices from outside grew louder and louder and louder, screaming our names, begging, laughing, crying, scratching, clawing, all at once. The old man had said, "They cannot enter unless you let them." So we held on. We held on until dawn again. When sunlight finally broke, everything went silent. Again. But something was different now. We weren't the same. Lily was pale. Noah was shaking. Emily was barely holding herself together. And me. I saw something today that I haven't told them yet. When I looked into the mirror, my reflection blinked a second too late. Night did not come like normal nights anymore. It didn't arrive. It collapsed, as if something smothered the sun rather than replaced it. One moment there was the last dull orange glow in the sky, and the next, blackness. Not darkness, void. Rachel immediately shut all the locks and layered the blankets over the windows. Avery checked each nail board, every piece of glass shard, every improvised barricade they had built inside the cabin. Little Jacob sat on the floor, hugging his knees, trying not to cry. He had started holding his breath whenever the darkness came, like even the sound of breathing could get him killed. Emma sat silently on the couch, staring at the front door. She didn't blink. Avery noticed. Hey, look at me." No response. He gently shook her. Emma turned her head slowly. Too slowly. Like something had to remind her how to move. And then she whispered, "They know we're here." Avery's stomach twisted. Rachel rushed over. "Baby, nobody is coming in. We're safe as long as we don't open the door." Emma didn't look at her. Her eyes never left the door again. Tap. Everyone froze. A single, sharp tap at the front window. Not a knock. Not a hit. Tap. Jacob covered his ears. Rachel swallowed hard, whispering, "They're early tonight." Avery nodded at Rachel to take the kids to the center of the room. He went to the window, slow, careful. He didn't lift the blanket. But through the fabric, something moved on the other side. Not a silhouette, not a face, just shifting, like a body made of smoke and meat, pressing softly against the glass. Then a voice. Soft, sweet, warm. "Avery, open the door. We saw you. We're only here to help." Rachel clamped her hand over Jacob's mouth before he screamed. The voice was wrong, because it sounded exactly like Avery's mother. But his mom had been dead for years. Avery stepped back. "It's not real. Don't listen. Don't answer. Don't think." But the voice kept talking, and now it sounded like someone else, someone crying. "Emma." But Emma was right behind them. The voice outside sobbed. "Daddy, please, that hurts. Let me in." Jacob shook violently, mumbling, "No, no, 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 no." Then, a new voice. A man's voice. Cold. Too close. Directly behind the door. "Your daughter already let us in once. She'll do it again." Avery whipped around. Emma's eyes were still fixed on the door. Her lips were slightly parted. Her breathing matched the whisper outside, like something was sinking with her. Avery grabbed her shoulders, voice shaking. "Emma, look at me. Look at me." Her pupils were dilated, swallowing the iris. She whispered, "I saw them. They were begging. They were crying. They were just like us. I thought they needed help." Rachel covered her mouth, tears spilling. "So you opened the door?" Avery's voice cracked. "No." Emma shook her head weakly. "Not fully. Just a little. When we first got to the cabin. Before you locked everything." Avery's chest collapsed inward. The door had been opened before the barricade, meaning they had touched her, seen her, connected to her. They marked her. Rachel's voice was a raspy whisper. "They tracked us. Through her. Outside." Something dragged its fingers slowly across the door. "Scray away, up. Not nails. Something harder. Something sharp." The boards on the window started to bend. Not break. Bend. Like something pressed from the other side, trying to remember how human arms moved. Rachel held Jacob tightly, whispering prayers he didn't understand. Emma covered her ears now. "Please stop. Please stop. Please stop." Avery grabbed her face gently. "Emma, listen to me. You are here. With us. They are lying. None of it is real. If you listen to them, they'll take you. Understand?" Tears streamed down her face. She nodded. Then the footsteps outside moved away. But not walking. More like crawling upright. Slow. Wet. Dragging something heavy. The voice faded, but not away. It wasn't leaving. It was waiting. Rachel exhaled slowly. Okay. We survived tonight. We just." Then they heard screams. Human screams. A woman's voice. A man shouting. Another family. Somewhere down the road. Emma covered her mouth. Rachel whispered, "We can't help them." Avery stared at the door, jaw clenched. He wanted to run out there. But that was how you died. 15 minutes of torture. Then silence. Avery didn't realize he was shaking until Rachel took his hand. "They'll be back before sunrise," she whispered. But morning came, and the village was silent again. The family went outside. The other family's house door was open. Blood smeared across the ground, but no bodies. No bones. No clothes. Just drag marks into the forest. Jacob began crying again. Emma stared at the tree line, expression blank. She whispered, "They don't kill people." Avery and Rachel turned to her slowly. Emma continued, "They take them, so they don't die. They keep them alive. Inside them." Avery stepped closer. "Inside what?" Emma's voice dropped into something hollow. "Inside the creatures." Rachel covered her mouth again as the realization hit. The monsters weren't monsters originally. They were people. People who once got stuck here. People who didn't make it. Who opened the door. Avery whispered, "If we don't get out soon, we become them." Emma nodded. The wind blew through the empty houses. Every door shut. Every window blind. Every home silent. Trapped. Watching. Waiting for night. The forest surrounding the village seemed to breathe. Every tree bent slightly toward them, whispering leaves like voices from far away. Avery gripped Rachel's hand tighter as they led Emma and Jacob along a narrow path. Every step felt like wading through molasses. Even in daylight, the shadows didn't behave normally. They stretched, bent, and twitched as though alive. "We can't stop," Avery whispered. "If we stop, they'll catch us." Jacob whimpered. "They're still following. I can hear them." Rachel glanced over her shoulder. The village looked distant now, but something about it didn't make sense. Every time she tried to focus on the buildings, the edges shimmered and bent. They weren't moving closer. The village was shifting, molding reality to trap them. The first night in the woods, the creatures came. Not like before. Not like the faceless, mimicking shapes at the cabin. These ones moved silently, appearing suddenly from behind trees, rocks, and the undergrowth. Their eyes were hollow, reflecting nothing but darkness. They didn't speak at first. They just stared. And the family froze, paralyzed by the instinctive knowledge that looking directly at them was dangerous. Emma froze as one approached, dragging something behind it that looked like a twisted torso wrapped in shadow. Avery pulled her back violently, his heart hammering. Jacob screamed and tried to run, but Rachel held him down, whispering, "Not yet. Not yet. We survive if we don't panic." Hours passed. The forest seemed endless. The air was thick with a strange scent, like decaying leaves and iron. The sun rose, but light felt weaker here, filtered and distorted. Avery realized the forest itself was part of the trap. They weren't just lost. They were inside the village's influence, which extended far beyond the physical streets. They stumbled upon a clearing. In the center, a circle of stones with strange markings. Avery knelt, brushing away moss and dirt. Symbols, circular, jagged, sharp, etched into the stones. He felt a chill crawl up his spine. Some kind of ritual ground. Rachel held Emma and Jacob close. "We can't stay here. They'll find us." A sudden rustling. Avery spun. One of the creatures emerged, humanoid but impossible, limbs stretched, torso elongated, head tilted unnaturally. Its mouth opened slowly, revealing sharp, jagged teeth. A voice emerged, not its own, but Rachel's voice, warped and pleading. "Let me in, it's safe, please." Avery stepped forward, hands shaking. "It's not real. They can't trick you if you don't let them." The creature's eyes, Rachel's eyes, stared into his. Avery felt himself wobble. Memory, emotion, love, all being pulled away from him like invisible hands. He fought to stay grounded. Jacob screamed, and Avery shook off the hypnotic hold. The creature hissed and lunged. Avery grabbed a thick branch and swung. The creature staggered but didn't fall. It cannot die, just like the old man said. They ran. Hours, maybe days. Avery had no sense of time. Night fell again. The forest became alive with hundreds of shapes. The creatures circled them, whispering voices of every person they loved, every memory they cherished, every fear they had. Emma faltered. Avery grabbed her hand. "Do not listen. Do not open the door. Not here. Not ever." But Emma stumbled. One creature, mimicking Jacob's small voice, crept close. "Daddy, I'm cold, let me in." Avery yelled, yanking her backward. She fell into Rachel's arms. They ran blindly, crashing through underbrush, branches whipping their skin, mud soaking them to the bone. Suddenly, the path opened to an old road, the first man-made structure they had seen in hours. Ahead, a rickety bridge crossed a blackened stream. Avery hesitated. The forest beyond the bridge seemed quiet. Too quiet. Then they heard it. A chorus of whispers, from every direction at once. "You cannot leave. You belong. Join us, forever." Avery stepped onto the bridge. Each plank creaked ominously. Jacob clung to Rachel. Emma was silent, pale. The air was so thick it felt like water. Halfway across, the creatures emerged from the shadows, climbing the bridge like spiders, limbs stretching unnaturally, voices merging into a single, unbearable sound. Avery swung the branch wildly, but it did nothing. Then a voice inside his head, clear, cold, ancient. Open the door. Join us. Let us in. Avery shouted, gripping Emma and Rachel. We don't let them. They don't control us. The creatures hissed, their humanoid faces twisting impossibly. The bridge shuddered. Planks splintered. Avery lunged forward, dragging Rachel and the kids. A creature reached for Emma, its fingers brushing her arm. A shock ran through him. Avery felt every memory, every fear, every love being pulled toward it, trying to open the part of him that the creatures needed. He screamed. He kicked. He refused. The planks beneath them broke. They tumbled into the shallow, black water of the stream. Avery grabbed Rachel first, pulling her to a small embankment. Then he reached for Emma and Jacob. Cold, wet, terrified, they scrambled up the mud slope. Behind them, the creatures stopped at the edge of the water. They couldn't cross. Something about the stream kept them at bay. Avery didn't question it. He only ran. They didn't stop. Not until the sun broke fully over the hills did the forest seem normal. Birds chirped. The wind carried no whispers. The trees didn't bend. The village was gone from sight. The family collapsed on the grass, drenched and shaking, unable to speak. Avery pulled the kids close. Rachel buried her face in his shoulder, sobbing quietly. We survived, Avery whispered. They had. For now. But Avery noticed something subtle, horrifying. Emma's eyes flickered for a moment, and for a single heartbeat, they went black. He realized, with a chill that cut deeper than any cold night in the forest, that they had not escaped the village. Not really. The creatures couldn't die, and somehow, a piece of them, a trace of the village, had followed. Shadowtown was not a place you leave. It waited, patient, hungry, eternal, and somewhere inside Emma, he could feel the pull, waiting for the night.